Well, hello everyone and happy Monday. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Lisa Horton Crafts. I'm Sheryl and I'm happy to be sharing some of Lisa's beautiful products with you today. Let's see, looks like I'm live and I see a few comments. Hi, Jean. Hi, Lorraine. And hi, Debbie. I thank you for joining. I'm so glad that you're here. So today I'm going to be sharing Lisa's pick of the week. It's the sentiment banners craft dies. So we'll be using that on our project. And I've also got the composition set A that I used for the, was this what I used for the sample? Yes, I think this is what I used for the sample. No, it's not. But I did use this on a card that I made earlier, and I will use it for today's card. And then I've also got the fundamentals, one of the fundamentals dies, the nested arches. So I'll be using this. And then for one of my samples, I used the sentiment strips, and I decided just before I went live, that I wanted to try something a little different. So I won't be using this one in my card. And then I've got an art stencil. This is the Spring Bloom stencil. And I don't think this one is in stock right now, but any stencil will work for this card that I'm going to do today. And then I've got some inks. I've got Tranquil Waters, Margarita, and Juicy Pineapple. So those are the products that I'm planning to work with today. Hi, Rebecca, and hi, Kathy. Glad you could join. Good to see you. And I'm going to start with some stenciling. So let me get my Ultimate 2 with my sticky mat. And I need a piece of white cardstock for my sample or for my card. Oh, I didn't even show you the sample. So this was one of the cards that I made. I've got a couple others that I'm going to show you later. But this is kind of this will be the design that I'm using, but I'm going to change it up quite a bit using the new sentiment banners for today's card. So I'll just lay that here off to the side. And then I'll bring this in and I'll bring in my stencil. And we'll go, I want to line this up. I kind of want this more flowers on this, as many of the flowers on my panel as I can get. So I'm just lining it up like that and putting it down on my mat, pressing everything, giving it a good press to make sure that I've got adherence. And then I'm going to start just inking up my stencil. I'll start with the Juicy Pineapple. And make sure you can see my whole mat here. And I'm just going to start in the center of these flowers and just put a little yellow centers for them. And this one is quick and easy. Any of Lisa's stencils, as I said before, would work for this project. I'm going to ink this whole panel, but I'm going to cut it down so I really don't have to ink everything, but I like to have the whole panel inked up, and then it gives me options when I try to look at where I want to place it. I think that's all I need for the yellow. So I'll put the Juicy Pineapple away and I'll bring in the Margarita. And we'll go with that, coloring these little daisies a little differently than you would see in nature, but it'll be pretty nonetheless. Go both ways around, get that color everywhere on these leaves. this stencil set, when you see them come back in stock, you probably want to get them. They're really nice because I think there's 7 stencils in this set. Oops, I didn't stamp that off enough. And lots of fun. They make fun backgrounds. And I could see them working really well with the composition dies and the fundamental dies too. I just love how Lisa's products just all work together so well. And this newest batch of products are just fantastic. And keep going around with this green here. And carry it out as far as you like. I want to go a little more than halfway out the petal on this. And I need to remember to keep talking. Keep talking when I'm inking. It's so much fun. And let's see, I think on this one, just do a teeny bit down here and leave room for that other. And this will probably actually get cut off. But like I said, don't want to take away any of my options when I go to use my dies to cut this panel. I think that's pretty good. Got a nice variety of the green. Some are lighter, some are darker, and that's just fine for this card. Okay, and then I'm going to add the Tranquil Waters right on the outside. So we've got 3 colors, 3 non-traditional colors in our daisies. I guess these are daisies. I don't really know what they are, to be honest. And just gonna go around those tips and pick up that blue. They're pretty. I like this blue. And this blue's not even my favorite color. Purple. Purple is my favorite. But I just wanted bright and cheery for this card. We're going to be using some of Lisa's downloads. I I actually downloaded one of the bundles twice, so be careful when you do your downloads and download them and file them on your computer, so that when you go to check your computer to see if you have it, you'll see that it's there and you won't order it twice like I did, but that's okay. But I love these downloads because they're so functional, and you can, you get a lifetime of use out of them, because once you download them, you own them. And I just think that's a fabulous thing. Okay, so keep going here. I got a little more on there than I wanted for that one, but that's okay. I like these 3 colors together. And go down, blend down into that Margarita to get a little different shade of green. It'll still be green, but just a teeny bit different, extra shade of green there. Let's see, I missed a petal there. So go back in and grab these guys. I'm going to do this one up here, give it a little more color. I don't know if it's going to end up in the cut or not, but we'll see. And just continuing on, inking up the rest of the petals with this Tranquil Waters. There. think that's, do this corner just in case this ends up being not on the chopping block. Okay, I think that looks pretty good for what we're trying to accomplish. So I'll move this out of the way and I'll clean off my stencil real quick with, I typically use alcohol and just a clean lint-free cloth to clean my stencils. And I just spray them. I've got several of Lisa's spray bottles and I have one with alcohol and one with water. And I just wipe off my stencil and it'll be ready for the next use. And when I'm on that back side of this particular stencil, when it's got those little pieces that can grab the cloth, I just kind of dab it. So we have that out of the way. And then I'll bring my little panel back in here. If I can get it off my tacky mat, it's tacky. There we go. Okay, so there's our ink panel. And the next thing I want to do is bring in my fundamentals arches. Now on my sample, I used this second arch here, but I think I want to use the biggest arch for this one and get more of this pretty panel onto my card. This is going to be an A2 card. And let's see. I think we'll go right there. Kind of at the edge. Don't want to go over. And then I'll grab some tape and just tape down this piece just to keep it in place as it goes through my die cut machine. Still don't have a name for my beautiful Lisa Horton's. Uh-oh, let me see. Is that too high? Yep, nope. I don't want that to be over the edge. I want it to be at the edge. There we go. So move that down just a little bit. Okay. So I'll go ahead and die cut this. Put that back in. Okay, so I could, ouch, take this arch out. Be cautious because I put a little bit of tape on there, but that's our pretty arch. And then I'm going to, let's see, what do I want to do next? Next, I think I want to look at the sentiment. So with Lisa's pick of the week, we have the banner dies, and we also have a digital download. So this is one of the sheets of the digital download. There are 52 sheets. So there's lots and lots of options. I didn't print them all off, obviously, but I did print this one because this is the one I'm going to be using. And I'm using one of the dies in this sentiment set. There's this big die, and then there's 4 little dies like this one, straight dies I call them, and then there's one that creates just a little teeny banner, just a single banner, and then these little pieces to go on to make there's like a little, I call it a curtain. And I'll show you a card that I use these 2 little dies and how I use them to create that curtain. I'll show you that when I'm done with this card. But for this card, I'm going to be using this big triple one to create this, let's see. I think I'm going to use Have an Amazing Birthday. And so I'm going to cut this out of my cardstock. And I just printed this on white cardstock, and it prints beautifully. You want to make sure that you're printing at 100% when you do print. Otherwise, it won't be the right size. And ask me how I know that. The first one I printed, not of this batch, but the last batch, I printed it and the dies didn't fit. And I was like, what's going on? And I went back and looked at my printer settings and I was not at 100%. So we'll just die cut this banner. Uh-oh, I'm adjusting my tape because it moved a little bit when I put it in my machine. I'm going to put that back in. And if we did it right, we'll have a beautiful banner just like that. Isn't that wonderful? And so there's that. The other thing that I've used from the digital downloads is the paper. So this is a piece of the digital papers that came out when she did her first digital release. And so we're going to put the pieces together like this. And then we'll add some flowers. I'm trying to decide if I want to do bling right here or flowers, but we'll see. So let's go ahead and start working on putting that together. And then I can decide whether I'm going to do a little more die cutting or not. So we'll start with this panel. This is an A2 card. So this panel, how did I cut this? I think this is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Yes, that's what this is. So we're just going to go ahead and put our panel. And I love that I've got this beautiful printed cardstock or printed paper anytime I want it. All I have to do is just print me off a sheet and I'm ready to go with my project. So I'll never be out of printed paper as long as I keep my download available. So we'll add this to the card front. If we can get it on there straight. My eyeballs, my hand-eye coordination is not that great. I had to laugh. I'm really not good at like puzzles and putting pieces together. I did a video recently, and it had, I don't know, two dies that cut out these parts, and I, for the life of me, could not get them straight. It was only two. It was only two pieces. So when my grandkids were little, and you have the little 5-piece puzzles, I used to put okay, why am I struggling with this? I used to put I numbered the backs of them when they weren't home, when they weren't at the house. And well, it might be how I cut this paper. That might be the problem. Well, we'll go with what we got. And I would number the backs of the paper. My daughter came over one day and we were playing puzzles, and one of my grandkids handed her a puzzle piece and she looked on the back. She said, what are these numbers doing on here? And I had to admit that I had numbered them so that I would remember how to put the puzzle together. She couldn't believe it. I should be ashamed to tell that story, but I own my truth. Oh goodness. Okay, so let's see here. So we'll put this down. Okay, and then for Have an Amazing Day, I think I might want to put some foam strip on that to give it a little bit of height and dimension. But these downloads are really, really nice. I hope that you'll get them. These dies are so versatile. You'll be able to use them in so many different ways. They're well worth the investment. The composition, the fundamentals, all of them are really fabulous. Definitely you want to keep those in your arsenal. Just putting some foam tape on here. This piece looks like it might fit here. Well, almost. It's a little too long. Just trim that. But these are great dies, and there's a lot of sentiments, a lot of mom, dad, mom. Just have to be sure to go out and check them out on the website. Lisa Horton Crafts. And oops, I don't think I need to trim that one. So we'll pull these pieces off. And then decide if we want to do a flower. I'm thinking I'm leaning towards the flower. So we'll see. Let me get this on and we'll figure it out. Just a little bit of, and you can use the paper strips to create backgrounds for this. I think they're in the pick of the week this week. Again, also, if memory serves me correctly, when I took a peek earlier today, it's funny, I can remember things from last week quicker than I can today, but I think that's what I saw when I looked. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and put this down. And just stick that right in the middle. Put it down a little bit, just so we can see more of that, or maybe up. No, I'll put it right there. And make sure it's straight. And give that a press. And I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the flower die. I'm going to use the smallest little flower from the Flowers and Leaves composition. And so it's this one. Or one of the other samples, or the one that I was actually going to do before I changed my mind at the last minute, was this size, but I'm going to use this little guy. And I'm going to need this little teeny flower center. And I had pre-cut or pre-inked, this is just a piece of white cardstock that I inked with Juicy Pineapple. So I'm going to cut 2 of these flowers and 2 centers in white cardstock. And I'll be right back. I usually do all my die cutting ahead of time, but when you change your mind at the last second, kind of hard to do. So let's see, let me grab a piece of white scrap and I'll die cut this little flower center a couple times. Challenge for me is not to lose it after I die cut it. When they're little like that. But we got success right now anyway. My plates are well loved already. So there we go. And let me put this little teeny die away before I lose it. Okay. All right, so let's take a look. I think what I want to do is put this guy on there. I don't know if I want that on there or not. I don't know. I think I like it on there. Oh, you're going to the retreat, Lorraine. Oh, good for you. That's awesome. I'm hoping that she'll do one in the States and I can come. I can't swing a trip overseas. A second trip. I went overseas earlier this year, so I can't swing a second trip. I couldn't find a prince in Dubai. So I'm here back in the States. I think I like that. Yep, so I think that's what we'll do. So I'll go ahead and ink this up. Or not ink, I'll glue it. And then stick it onto the card front. And then I'll show you the other cards and talk a little bit about that single, I call it the curtain die, that's in this set. I'm gonna get my glue here. I'll just put a dot. That's all we need. So cute, these little flowers are really cute. And then I'll just do a dot of glue on the flags. And stick those down. And then, of course, I have to have a teeny little bit of bling on this bright and cheery card. But look at how amazing that banner die is. And it creates such a beautiful card so easily. So let me see if I can find let's go with my fallback favorite. We'll do the Spectrum AB. I've got some Spellbinders dies here, or gems to embellish. And I'll just put one in the center of my little flower. Oops, that's not in the center. I have to pick this up a little bit just for a second, make sure I get it in the center. Oops. There, now I can push it down. So that is today's quick and easy project. And if I would have used the new metallic inks on this, that would have been really pretty. Pretty also, you'd have glimmer on the flowers and that, but aren't, look at those dies. I just love them. So that's that. And then I said I was going to show you on the little, this little banner die. So when you cut this, this is the die, and then you have two little triangles that are part of this set and go on this die. So I cut, let me cut this so you can actually see what I'm talking about. I'm going to cut it out of some, a little piece of the printed paper that I had. And so there's that, what the die cut looks like, just plain. And then on this card, I die cut, I just used the straight die and die cut it, and then I stamped the sentiment and then added it. I actually put, cut this twice and cut this once in with this and then a second time straight so that I could add that little ribbon across that little teeny line of green behind it. And then when you go to make it look like a curtain, you do that with these little corner pieces, these little triangle pieces. So I cut these out of white card, and then I just put them onto, well, maybe the die cut. This is bigger than the die cut, obviously, but I put it on there. So now you can see if you line, this is a equal size triangle. So if you line up that edge of the triangle with the edge of the, what I call the curtain, you'll get that curtain effect. The only thing you need is just to have two different colors when you're doing that. So that's another sample using the smaller of the dies that are in this banner set. So it is a great set. It's the pick of the week. You can get it along with the new downloads this week. And let's see, do I have another card that I made? Yeah, I think this is it. These are the three cards for today's project with the beautiful new sentiment banners. So I hope that you will take advantage of it. Thank you so much for your time. I'm glad you're here. Be sure to check out Claire tomorrow. She'll be live. Look on Lisa's Facebook group for the calendar for the remainder of the week, or Facebook page. And I thank you so much for your time. I'm so happy that you were here to join me. I hope you have a fantastic week, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.